Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, February 5th, 2026. It's another beautiful day here in Paradise. The time here is 1:32 p.m. and I'm pleased to call to order the regularly scheduled February meeting of the City of West Palm Beach Zoning Board of Appeals. I will first ask our board secretary to please call the roll.
Dana Picott.
Present.
Christopher Hagan.
Here.
Sherry Hack.
Here.
Alfred Fields.
Here.
Let the record reflect that Emmeline Savage and Jonathan Burgess are not present.
Okay, thank you. With 4 members present, we do have a quorum, so we'll proceed. We ask everybody now to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please be seated. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the last meeting we had, which was December 4th, 2025. The minutes were distributed in the board packets ahead of this meeting, so hopefully everybody had a chance to review them. At this time, if there are any corrections, additions, or deletions to be made to the minutes, please specify that. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, it was moved by Board Member Fields and seconded by Board Member Picott. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the minutes for the December meeting of 2025 are approved. Next on our agenda is a report from our staff. So I'll ask Ms. Van if you have a report for us.
Hi, Angela Van, Assistant Development Services Director. Just wanted to introduce the new Planning and Zoning Administrator who will take over the functions of this board, Stephanie Gregory. Stephanie comes after approximately 18 years at Palm Beach County. So I mean, she actually will be doing the case because our planner is sick. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now move to remarks by the chairperson. So I'll start off first by also extending a warm welcome to Stephanie. Glad to have you on board here at the City of West Palm Beach and look forward to working with you on this board. The other item I'll just go over is the proceedings for today's hearing for those who may be unfamiliar with it. Matters before the Zoning Board of Appeals are quasi-judicial in nature. Anyone wishing to speak, including members of the public who wish to offer public comment, will need to be sworn in. The applicant will then make a presentation to the board and answer any questions. Then the applicant will be followed by city staff who will provide a presentation and recommendation to the board, and then we'll answer any questions. Members of the public will then be given an opportunity to provide comment, with each person receiving up to 3 minutes. City staff will also insert any public comment received in advance of today's meeting, such as emails, voicemails, etc., into the record. The applicant will then have the opportunity for rebuttal, and then the floor will be closed. The board will go into executive session for a discussion, a motion, and then a vote. And as a reminder, if a matter is recommended in the affirmative, that 4 votes are required for approval. So as it stands right now, there are 4 of us present, so it would require a unanimous decision from this board. And that's it. So I'll move on next to just any declarations of ex parte communication from members present. I'll start on my left with Member Picott.
Thank you. As to matter case number 3555 and 3556, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit, and I have not received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Thank you. Board Member Hack. And then just at the very bottom. Yeah. Oh, you do? Yeah, and I think it may not have picked everything up. You don't need to hold it down. Yeah, if the green light's on, then it gets in the microphone. Yeah.
I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Thank you. Board Member Fields.
As to the matters of zoning board of Appeals, case number 3555, 3556. I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinion. I request that these disclosures and all written communication be made part of the record.
Thank you. And for myself, as to matters Zoning Board of Appeals case number 3555 and 3556, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record. So that completes our ex parte communications. So I'll now ask our board secretary to please swear in anyone wishing to speak at this hearing today. So all wishing to speak, please stand, raise your right hand to be sworn in by our secretary.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the first item on our agenda is a continued case, which is Zoning Board of Appeals case number 3555. I'll ask our board we have staff approaching the microphone. Hold on.
Yeah, so unfortunately the applicant is sick, so this case will need to be continued again for 3555.
Okay. So if that's the case, I did not see him here present in the chambers. I'll entertain a motion to continue if that's the pleasure of the board.
I move that the Zoning Board of Appeals continue case number 3555 until the next meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Board Member Fields and seconded by Board Member Picotte. We'll just do a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that matter is continued to the next regularly scheduled Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. That moves us on then to new business, which would be item C1. I'll ask our board secretary to please read that item into the record.
A request by Schmidt-Nichols on behalf of Lindsay and Nicholas Harris for variances from section 94-74A3 and 94-312.2 of the city's zoning and land development regulations to reduce the required front setback from 25 feet to 12.5 feet and the minimum separation between driveway access points fronting the street from 50 feet to 34 feet on a single-family residential lot. The subject property, consisting of approximately 0.15 acres, is located at 300 Flamingo Drive within Commission District Number 5. Commissioner Christina Lambert.
Thank you very much. So we'll start off. We'll ask the applicant's representative, Mr. Schmidt, to make his presentation.
Good afternoon, John Schmidt, agent for the applicant, and thank you for your time and consideration today. I'll try to make it short and sweet. This property is located at 300 Flamingo Drive, so the southwest corner of the intersection of Flamingo and Olive. It's currently a single-family zone property, 60 by 104.14 acres. Again, the zoning single-family 14, and the future land use is single 14. We're surrounded to the north by multifamily, which is the Magnolia Court, I believe is what they call. To the west is multifamily and POR, professional office, but to the south and east are both single-family zoning regulations. We're asking for two variances today. Number one is a change in the front setback. So the narrowest part of the lot is considered the frontage in single-family districts. So our narrowest part of the lot is along Flamingo at 60 feet wide. What we're asking for is the front of the lot to be considered olive, which is more consistent with the other, with the rest of the street, and I'll show you some of those pictures and point that out. So we're asking for our front setback to be 12.5, and then along Flamingo, and then along Olive, change that to 25. The second variance is the driveway location. So, and we have support from the engineering department. We have multiple drainage inlets and speed humps that go along the property that make it a challenge to do that. So we're asking for a slight reduction in that of 16 feet for that driveway separation. And so if you look up to the right-hand corner, you're seeing the townhouses that are across the street, the multifamily. They have that a little bit bigger setback, 17 feet, as opposed to the front 12. And if we look at kind of a line of sight along here, I think that you'll see that the 25 feet is really more consistent with what's going up and down that block. The image on the bottom there, again, is the Magnolia Court with the reduced front setbacks along here. So I think, like pointing out, it's just more consistent with what's going on there. We have the same owners directly to the west, so we're in, they're all right with the variance request. So we meet all the standards of section 9438 DC A through J. Staff is recommending with approval with 2 conditions that we're accepting. And I did reach out to the LCID neighborhood in November through their portal, tried to get it on their board hearing. I didn't hear anything. I followed up with Miss Reed through a couple of emails, letting her know what her request was. They asked what the use was, which is going to be a 2-story single-family house. I didn't receive any other correspondence from them. Sent them out another one saying that we were going to be on last month's hearing, which got postponed because of the quorum. I still hadn't heard anything back, and I reached out directly to our neighbors to the south on 1-6 and then on 12-2. That property's under construction. Those are the 2 pictures there. I've dropped my card off there trying to get a hold of somebody and hadn't got a call back. This is a letter from the engineering department that supports the driveway, identifying that we did have problems out there with the inlet locations and the speed hump, and supporting our request. And with that, I'm here to answer any questions you may have, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll start off with questions from Board Member Fields. Any questions of the applicant?
And I just want to be clear, you said you were in agreement with the...
Yes, sir, with the 2 conditions.
2 conditions.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Board Member Hack?
No questions.
Okay, Board Member Picotte?
No questions at this time.
Okay. And I just wanted to clarify, I think I read this in the staff report, but I know our code defines the narrower side when you have a corner lot as the front of the property. So if that weren't in our code, and it looks like the front door of this building is facing Olive, the residence. Correct. If we just defined the front of the lot as the side that the front door of the house faces, and the Olive side were the front, were considered the front of the lot, there would be no variances required. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you wouldn't even be before this board.
Correct.
It's just the, yeah.
That's
okay.
correct.
Okay. That's the only question I had. So I think we're good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We'll now ask staff to please come forward for your presentation.
Good afternoon, Stephanie Gregory, Planning and Zoning Administrator. I'm filling in today for James Roman, who unfortunately is out sick also. So this is ZBA case 3556, and Mr. Schmidt discussed the surrounding zoning districts, but just to reiterate, to the west you have professional office residential. Then along Dixie Highway there are some vacant lots with a general commercial. And then to the north is a Magnolia Court townhome with the RPD zoning. And then to the south and west is the LCID Historic District with an SF14C3 designation. There are 2 variance requests today for sections 9474 and 94312. The first would be to reduce the required front setback from 25 feet to 12.5 feet. And then the second is to reduce the corner clear distance from 50 to 34 feet. In looking at the first variance for the front setback, as mentioned, the city's zoning land development regulations do require that front setback to be measured from the right-of-way with the narrowest width, which would be Flamingo Drive. That would then make the other side, Olive Avenue, the corner. So the applicant is proposing this front back reduction in order to better align with the surrounding development pattern, and that is because the multifamily to the north has a 12-foot front setback on Flamingo, and the professional office that is directly to the west has a 0 front setback on Flamingo. And then finally, the residential that is directly to the south would be 23 feet, which is pretty much in line with what they're proposing for their olive setback. The second variance is the corner distance, corner clearance distance, and that is defined as the distance between the nearest edge of a driveway to the edge of the closest intersecting right-of-way. So the applicant is proposing to reduce that distance from 50 to 34 feet, and that is due to the current features that exist along South Olive Avenue, including a speed table, which is shown in orange, roadway signage, and the catch basins, which you can see in green. So the driveway location is in blue, and that location has been deemed to be acceptable to the city's traffic engineer. This is just a photograph showing that potential driveway location in reference to the catch basins and the speed tables and the existing conditions with the stop sign and roadway signage. In looking at the 10 standards of compliance, staff does find that they meet all 10 standards for the variances. And as such, we are recommending approval with 2 conditions. So the first would require the corner frontage on South Olive to be designated as the front, and it would require the frontage along Flamingo to be considered the corner side yard. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll now ask the board if there are any questions of staff. So I'll start off with Board Member Hack, if you have any questions of Ms. Gregory.
No questions.
Okay, Board Member Picotte
No questions.
and Board Member Fields.
I just wanted to, I know reducing from 50 to, was it 34 feet, right at that corner, and you said engineering is perfectly okay with it according to their, it just seems that it's pretty close to that corner to me. But if you're saying that, if we're saying that engineering has approved and agree with that change based on the condition, I just would like a little bit more insight about on that, because that just seems, and looking at it and reading it, it is kind of.
And this is Angela Van, Assistant Development Service Director. It's a glitch in our code, unfortunately, for any single family, from corner lots, from property, adjacent property lines. It's a 50-foot separation. Most of our lots are only 50 feet wide. So that's something that we understand and we need to fix, and we are going to fix that. But yeah, because nobody can actually put a new driveway and meet our current requirements, because most of the lots are only 50 feet wide.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I don't have any questions of staff, so I think we can move on. I'll go ahead now and open the public hearing. I have received one card. That's Karen Steele. So please come up to the microphone. First, start off by stating your name and address.
My name is Karen Steele, and I'm a resident of 267 Barcelona Road in the El Cid Historic District. I received a note this morning from Celia Terenzio, who is the neighbor immediately south of this property. She lives in the house that is under renovation, which is soon to be completed. She was fully intending on being at this meeting this morning, but asked if I could attend because she has a meeting with the Attorney General today. So, and I have a picture to prove that. Anyway, she sent me a note because I asked her, you know, I served as chair of the El Cid Historic Board for many years, and she as well was on the board as the treasurer, and so why Mr. Schmidt did not get any response from them is, I've been off the board for a couple of years. I don't know why that happened, but we are pretty attentive to issues in our neighborhood because we have had many, many concerns about development and traffic in our neighborhood. But this is from Sealy. If you just give me a second to pull this up, what she had to say. Her address is 2007 South Olive, Celia Terenzio. She says that she has approximately 3,700 feet, which is a very tiny lot, and she's required to comply with all setbacks. including these requirements for the green space, which will be a hardship for parking for her, but she's doing it. Her big concern is that this is a very bad precedent for our neighborhood. I would like to add to that comment in that I know her lot very well. Her driveway comes right out on Olive. The traffic is horrific there, and any inability for her to get out of that lot is going to be dangerous. Really, we have had multiple accidents because of the heavy Dixie to Olive to Flagler traffic running through our neighborhood. And so I think you have to be really, really careful with what's happening now. I'm actually experiencing this at my house on Barcelona with construction that's been going on for about a year and a half, and I can't get out of my driveway safely. And so I can't even imagine. I have seen in the morning the cars being piled up on Olive, and so I think this is a real concern. Obviously, I echo her concern with relation to that being able to be setbacks, having those setbacks changed.
You can have 30 more seconds to wrap up. Normally it's 3 minutes, but
Okay.
if you'd like just to wrap up, 30 more seconds.
Thank you. I would like to also say that the comparison to Magnolia Court is misleading. That is all commercial. They're building the only place on there is that corner to be building a residential, and so it really should be considered in relationship to the other residential, which is her house directly adjacent to what they're doing, and across the street to the rest of Flamingo. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. I'll ask if there's anybody else here present. I'd only received one card ahead of time, but if anybody else is present, yeah, please come forward to the microphone. And yeah, that's fine. We'll just need that for the record, but go ahead, state your name and address for the record, and then you have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Jim Malloy, 276 Flamingo Drive, and I'm against this. I think that we should enforce the current regulations that we have. I agree with what Karen just said, that, you know, Olive has become a parking lot in the morning now and in the afternoon. You can't even get out of the streets there now. It's Dixie number 2. So, I mean, I think that we really would like to see El Cid Historic District this lot is in, and I think it should meet the codes of the city, not be concerned with where it backs up to a commercial or residential commercial lots, because we've got that whole side street that's going to be developed at some points where the Carefree Theater wants to go, right there on that street. So I'm very much against granting this variance. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here in attendance who wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, then I'll ask our staff if there were any voicemails or emails that were received that need to be entered into the record.
Not that I'm aware of, nothing.
Okay. With that, I'll close the public hearing. We'll provide the applicant with an opportunity to provide a rebuttal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, neighbors, for coming up. And I wanted to kind of just point out some things. When we came in for our pre-application, this particular property, although close to El Cid, is not in a historic district. So I know we neighbor the historic district, but we're not within the historic neighborhood. I did volunteer to come in because I thought, you know, adding to the historic would be helpful, and adding lands to there and not, you know, have properties chip away. But that was declined. They don't want to, the city does not want to expand the historic district. So unfortunately, we're not in that historic district, as you point out. Not granting the variance for the drive would actually put the driveway closer to the neighbor and probably create more conflict. We did also look at using Flamingo as our point of entry, but it's so close to the stop sign, we were concerned about not being able to get out, as with all the traffic that you mentioned. The changing of our setback along Olive to 25 feet actually creates twice as much green space if you approve it this way. Because if we were to look at Flamingo as the front, then that would mean our side setback would only be 12.5, which would push the house much closer to Olive Avenue, therefore reducing the amount of green space that's in your neighborhood. Again, I talked about the driveway connection would be closer to her driveway, so this is separating them, providing much more separation. Magnolia Court is multifamily completely along Flamingo. It is commercial along Dixie Highway, so it wasn't being disingenuous. Those residential or multifamily houses do have 12-foot setbacks along that whole corridor. And with that, I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Okay. Yeah, primarily rebuttal is just, just for providing us with information and to counter, to provide more clarification on statements that were made. I'll ask the board if there are any further questions of the applicant before we move to executive session. At this point, no. So thank you, and thank you to the public for providing that. So we've closed the public hearing. We're going to go through executive session, and if there are further questions or clarification, we may bring people up. But I think it's important to listen to the proceedings. The applicant does, by the rules of this board, the applicant does have the opportunity to provide clarification and answer questions that have come up during public comment. So that's where we are. So now we'll move into the executive session. So I'll ask our board, starting off with Member Picott, if you've got discussion on this item.
I have no further discussion.
Okay. Board Member Fields?
I just want to say I did have concern with moving the driveway, but based on the experts and based on the standards, I think it falls within the realm of what's being requested based on the standards in which we have to look at this. Staff has reviewed them and they comply. So I can't find, and I understand the community's and neighbors' request, but based on the current way the laws are laid out and the standards that are being met, I can't see how we cannot move forward with the granting of the variance based on the current codes and the way they're laid out as approving or disapproving the variances. Thank you.
Board Member Hack, discussion?
No discussion.
Okay. I'll probably bring staff up just to kind of clarify something, and I think this slide that's up on the screen is actually probably very helpful for the discussion. All of us here are residents of the city, and I think a lot of us probably do share concerns about when people are looking at setback modifications from what's in the code. I think, and Mr. Schmidt kind of walked through it a little bit in his rebuttal, but I wanted to make sure we were completely clear on this. I think in this case, it looks like that the applicant is giving up setback on one side. Yes, they're reducing the setback on the north side, but they're voluntarily increasing the setback on the east side. And I think the net effect of that, just from my review of both the staff materials and the information provided to us here before, actually lessens the impact on the LCID neighborhood. And so again, I just want to clarify from staff, if you could come up with the slide that's up here. It appears to me, if I'm reading this correctly, there's a dashed line, so I'd ask everybody to look at that. That's a rectangle on the screen. It's basically got two short dashes and a long dash. If I'm interpreting this correctly, that if no setback variances were granted, is that the box within the site that the house footprint could be built without variances?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
This would be the 12 and a half?
Yes, it would be 12.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's a little fuzzy on my screen, but
Yeah.
it looks like that's 12 and a half from Olive,
Yep.
and then the north side is 25 feet. So, and I don't know if it's possible for staff to kind of outline it with a cursor.
Sure. Can you see?
It'd be nice if we could draw a rectangle on there, but
Actually, I wonder if I have a better. Can you see that one better? You have the line. See where that lower car is, there's
Right.
the line
Yeah, so
there. That
the
would be
yellow rectangle outlines where the building is proposed to be built. Again, there's a dashed line rectangle, which it would be awesome if we could draw it out on here, that shows if no variances were granted, where the house, if this were denied, where the house could be built, it would move. Yeah, it's kind of.
Sorry, I just figured out how to use that pen. Yeah, so that would be the 25 feet, and this would be the 12 and a half.
Yeah.
Sorry for my.
So the applicant is voluntarily pushing, they're asking for a reduced setback on the north side, but the result of that is they're also asking for an increased setback on the east side, which pushes the building further to the west. So if we didn't grant this, the house could be built all the way to that red line that was drawn, much closer to Olive Avenue. It would be much closer to the sidewalk, much closer to the road. And yes, the north side would be pushed back from Flamingo, but the house would be built much closer to Olive. And if we can outline the south part of that envelope, I know that the first speaker was conveying information on behalf of the resident to the south. There's no proposed change to the south setback here. So this isn't pushing the house any closer to that property owner. So there's no impact. The action of this board has no impact on the property owner to the south. In fact, it looks as though that the main wall of that house is inside. It's not on the setback line. It's actually stepped back from it a little bit. So the amount of setback that will result from the edge of that house to the property line is more than the minimum that's required. So the house could actually be built a little bit closer to that property owner because they're not building it right on the setback line, but they're building it a little bit within. But again, there's no impact. The action that this board would take today has no impact to that property owner. The main impact is that the house, these variants, approving this variance would move the house away from Olive, but a little bit closer to Flamingo. And I think as a board member here, I would have an issue if they were asking to have their cake and eat it too. If they were saying, well, let's reduce the setback to Flamingo and period, the end, because they'd be asking for their cake and to eat it too. But instead they're saying, well, we want to reduce the setback to Flamingo, but we're giving up setback on Olive and pushing the setback further in. And again, that to me visually, and again, there's no difference on the south property line. The impacts when you look at El Cid being east and south of here. In both cases, the house is being moved further away from the El Cid neighborhood. And again, that's part of, as I'm deliberating on this today and looking at that building envelope, the fact that there's give and take here, not just take, is an important factor in my decision as I'm reviewing this. Sorry, it looked like there was more discussion, so yeah.
Yeah, all that information you provided was correct. And if Olive became the front, then the property to the south, which has the residential, would then become the side setback, which actually would narrow that setback down to 5 feet. So.
Got it. Yeah, the house then could theoretically be built 5 feet off of that south property line instead of the 10 feet 6. That's the minimum. And again, looks like it's being built about 12 feet or so off of that for the main line of the house. So again, I just want we do take, I think, any request here to reduce setbacks very, very seriously. Again, all of us are residents here, and I think are looking at the city as a whole. But again, because what's before us is a give and take. There's a request to reduce the north setback, but along with that is an increase in the east setback. So it's being built further away from Olive instead of being built as close to Olive as it could be if this were to be denied. So again, it takes it off of Olive and pushes it a little bit closer to Flamingo. Is there any other board discussion? Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Zoning Board of Appeals grant ZBA case number 3556, a request by Smits Nichols on behalf of Lindsay and Nichols Harris for variance for sections 94-74A, 4A, and 94-3122A of the city's zoning and land development regulations and reduce the front setback from 25 feet to 12.5 feet, and to reduce the corner clearance distance from 50 feet to 34 feet. The motion is based upon the testimony presented along with the application submitted by staff, submitted and staff report, which constitutes competent, substantial evidence. The board hereby makes finding of fact that each of the criteria in Article 2, Section 94-38D6 of the City of West Palm Beach zoning and land development regulations have been met. In addition, granting of the variance is made conditioned upon the following restrictions, stipulations, and/or safeguards that I move are necessary to ensure compliance with the proposed and intent of the zoning and land development regulations and consistent with the comprehensive plan of the City of West Palm Beach. 1, the corner frontage along South Olive Avenue shall be designated and regulated as the front setback of the property and shall comply with all applicable front yard requirements of the zoning code, including but not limited to landscaping standards, visibility requirements, and limitations on accessory structures, fences, and walls. 2, the frontage along Flamingo Drive shall be designated and regulated as the corner side yard setback and shall comply with all applicable corner side yard requirements.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Board Member Fields and seconded by Board Member Picotte. I'll ask our Board Secretary to please call the roll.
Dana Picotte,
Yes.
Christopher Hagan,
Yes.
Sherry Hack,
Yes.
Alfred Fields.
Yes.
Okay, Zoning Board of Appeals case 3556 is approved on a vote of 4-0. Thank you all for coming out today. With that, we'll move to unfinished business, of which there is none. New business, trying to remember if we had any new business, checking with staff, or other business. If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 So as of 2:10 p.m., the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting is adjourned.